doesn't have the solution, so that's not good. All right, we're still at 20 multiple choice questions. Let's start with those. They're divided evenly amongst the chapters, 5 from each chapter. So the first chapter had to do with inventory. We talked about cost flow methods. So we also talked about determining where the inventory needs to be recorded, who does it belong to, and we looked at shipping terms, right? So if it was in transit, you didn't have it at your physical location, you had bought it, and if it was FOB shipping point, even though you didn't have it in your location, it still belonged to you, it still needed to be in your inventory, right? So those sorts of things, take a look at that. Because I'm going to ask you to determine what the correct amount on the balance sheet should be after analyzing the situation. There's a similar problem, that's a problem, one of the problems, without any numbers, and I gave you a multiple choice, similar problem, but with numbers. So, I don't know what I was thinking, but that's, keep you on your toes, right? And you should know why we use different methods of depreciation, not depreciation, cost flow methods. I'm still on depreciation here, I should take this off the screen. All right. In other additional issues for inventory, we looked at lower cost of market. We looked at cost to retail percentage methods. There will be a question on LIFO, but there won't be a calculation. You just need to understand what is included in that. The retail inventory method, the dollar value LIFO, what's included in that calculation? Again, no numbers. There's only there's only two that have, no, I lied. No, yeah, two multiple choice questions that have any numbers. Then the next chapter were fixed assets, including intangibles. And so there'll be some questions on goodwill, or one question at least from that chapter. A question about asset retirement obligations. Question about lump sum purchases and how we allocate the price to each component. Lump sum purchases. We pay a lump sum. Remember we had the discussion about land, and Martin, you asked me about whether you could actually buy the building separately, and you and I had a discussion about that. I'm just giving you a bad time because I know you. Remember? The land and the building, so that's what we're talking about, is a lump sum purchase. Huh? Yeah. All right. Then there's one on you're buying assets with stock, with equity securities. How do you record this transaction? And a question on software development costs and when they are capitalized or not. Then the last chapter, questions in general about depreciation, depletion, and amortization. It's in those 5 last questions that I give you one that involves numbers, and it is one regarding goodwill. And one regarding what we do with changes in the estimated life of assets. Impairment value, there'll be a question on the impairment value of property, plant, and equipment. And the last question will be an IFRS question about impairment value. If you went over the last few problems that we did, you've got that one. The last few exercises. All right, problems. There is a problem on the first chapter where you are to tell me, I have 7 different items, are these items to be included or excluded from the final year-end inventory count? That's all you have to tell me, include or exclude. The next problem is a problem using periodic inventory system and the LIFO cost method. You're to tell me what cost of goods sold is. That is correct. And what happens if we have a LIFO liquidation? What do we report? That's 2 problems so far. The third problem is one where you are to use the gross profit margin to determine the inventory. The ending inventory. It was destroyed. You have to come up with what it was based on information you're given. Remember we did a problem like that? You had beginning inventory, we knew how much we purchased, we knew what the sales were. We just don't know what was left over, but you could figure it out. Okay, that's problem 3. Problem 4, you're to calculate, to compute the beginning inventory, because you're given everything. So this is kind of working your way back. Using the average cost retail method. That was problem 4. Problem 5, you are to record the journal entry for the disposition of an asset. You're given everything you need. That's it for 25. That should be a 1-minute answer. 26, that's the last problem, problem 6, is a goodwill problem. And you're to tell me if there's impairment. And if there's an impairment loss, prepare the journal entry to record the loss. And that's it. It's not too bad. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm not